Okay, first thing I want you to do is I want you to go back and review some videos I have in previous milestones. Up here with the face area, there's that blue showing through. You have to adjust your mask so that way the sky is not showing through behind it. And then I want to work on the connection of the legs um, and some of the shoulder areas a little bit more. Looks like this one here, that this leg is off to the side. It should be a little bit closer in for that purpose. Um, Now, when you work with a cast shadow, just like a shadow, it shouldn't be as abrupt as you have there, so you really have to blur it. Filter blur, Gaussian blur. Okay, just soften the edges up. You might have to adjust it after we do certain things with this, but there's two things I want you to do. You add an image into the background, which is great, but you got to make it your own. You can't just take someone's image and use it. You got to do something different to it. First of all, this sky is just too blurry. Really, the grass is kind of blurry, but the sky is really distracting on that part. So the first thing I would suggest doing is finding another image to use for the sky. So I went out and found another image. And you want to find the clouds that have a little more perspective. So as it gets closer to the horizon, it's smaller clouds. Now what we do here is very simple. Oops. I'll reveal all these layers back real quick. Now what I'll do is in my layer 1, and make sure you name your layers as you go, because I will look at that in the grading. So what I'll do here is I'll take the quick selection tool and I'll just select this grass area down here at the bottom. I'll create a mask so that just reveals it. Now what I'll do is then right below the layer I'll put this new sky in. Make sure it fits within that area, and so that creates that area that we need to for that purpose. So again, what we're doing is we definitely need to do something a little bit different here. Now with the text down here, I can't read your text, so you definitely have to do something different with that. I would delete by you because we just want the name in. We already know who it's going to be. Gives us more room for this. So I'm going to move this. I'm going to move this up real quick out of the way, because I think what you need to do as well is I want you to bring the character down. So I'm going to select everything here and I'm going to move this character down here. I'm going to make it a little bit larger based on the image that you have here. Okay. Then I suggest that you bring in some grass brushes. I will include your brushes that you can go in, you can load. What you do is with your paintbrush tool, I'm going to choose a color first of green. Depending on the style of the brush, sometimes I'll do a lighter green for the background for this purpose. And what I do is the brushes, there's tons of brushes you can use. You can see there's one brush that's right here. But I can go in and I can load brushes. There's this little gear up here. And in this case, import brushes, I should say. And we go in here. I gotta find. I had some brushes for grass. Let me see where those are. Hold on a second. Okay, so let me open up there. Here's the grass brush set. What you do is you load it, and it's going to add it toward the very bottom of your group. And so in this case, what I do is I choose the brushes I want to work with. Now I'm going to come back in and I'm going to create a layer. Before I do this, I'm going to create a layer right above the scene. And what you're going to do here is when you click, you can see that there's the styling that you're looking at. And what you can do is when you click, you don't want to drag like that. You don't want to drag. What you're going to do is you're going to click a couple times. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this a little bit larger. And then what I'll do is I'll switch coloring up. And I'm clicking and I'm adding the grass. Now what I'm want to do, again, you can change the styling of different, there's different grass brushes that you can bring in. So, and then you use a different size brush with a different color. Now, what I'll do here is I want this grass above, actually I want above the legs so it feels like this character is standing in the um, grass to create that perspective. Okay. Now, when you do this, the other thing that you have to do, I just was looking at your character. We really need to get that change in that pot to make it look like the neck is coming from outside in the middle of that pot. So I think I brought up, I think it was a couple milestones for that purpose. And then I would suggest keeping the text up here. Okay, making it a little bit larger. So like in this case, let's make Garden Grace 48 points, and let's make Grace 60 points. Let's make it 72. Let's make it stand out. And then what I probably would do here is reduce the leading. Just like you do in graphic design, you got to adjust the leading. So let's see here. Let's try, well, 60 is not enough. Let's do, I don't know why it's not reducing. Oh, I didn't select everything correctly. There we go. 48 is too much. 60 is just about right. Then I can apply different styles to this. What I probably would do is I would probably add a different style to the word grace, but I can't do that because you have it on one layer. You might have to put grace on a separate layer. If that's the case, then what you do is you cut this out. Okay. Then I'm going to do another paste, bring it in. Now as you see here, I can move it around anywhere I can fit it in. It doesn't have the style, so what you do is you go to Garden Glitter and you go up to Layer, Layer Style, Copy Layer Style, click on Grace, go up to Layer, Layer Style, Paste Layer Style. Now we can go in and add other things to this. So let's say we want to add an outer glow. Okay, so I'm going to increase the spread up and the size, and white with a white cloud, let's make it green. So you can do a little bit difference there. It's going to be subtle. I'm going to change this screen here to multiply. And maybe I go down here to a little something interesting with a different contour. The key here is you gotta kind of have to experiment to create what you want. Maybe don't do an outer glow. We do, see, you already did a stroke, but I was just trying to make things stand out. Maybe do a drop shadow. Something like that. So that way it gives you more control, so it only affects the word grace than anything else.